Frankenstein. Chapter 6. Henry Cloverell arrives to the University of Ingolstadt to complete his studies. He also has come to give Victor a letter from Elizabeth. In the letter, Elizabeth shares news from home, emphasizing that Justine Martiz, the family servant, has arrived to live with them. She also shows concern for Victor's illnesses and asks him to return home and write back soon. So Victor immediately replies, informing her on his living status. He explains that he had gotten sick due to the chemicals that were in his apartment. However, after Henry removed them from there and helped Victor find a clean place to live, he soon started recovering. After recovery, Victor then decides to introduce Henry Cloverell to his university professors Waldman and Kremp. After speaking with the professors, they both soon start studying Oriental languages. Victor soon decides to visit Geneva, but he must wait for a letter specifying a date for his departure to home. While they wait, Henry proposes a pedestrian tour around the university, and Victor accepts this with great pleasure. They spent a fortnight exploring the country and admiring the nature along the way. Chapter 7. They both return to college on a Sunday afternoon, filled with happiness and unbridled joy. However, upon arrival, Victor discovers a troubling letter from his dad, saying that Victor's younger brother William has been murdered. He is shocked and depressed, so he immediately packs his bags and heads home to Geneva. However, he arrives too late as the town gates have been locked for the night. So he is forced to spend the night wandering in the outskirts of town in Secheron, where he is soon hit by a thunderstorm. Suddenly on Mont Blanc, flashes of lightning begin to illuminate a figure. It is something so shocking, horrifying, and disturbing. It was the creature that Frankenstein had created. Quickly connecting the dots in his brain, he is convinced that the monster is responsible for the murder of his little brother, William. However, upon arrival in town, he discovers that the town has actually accused Justine Moritz of the murder. Why? Well, because a photo of Caroline Beaufort that belonged to William Frankenstein was found in the pocket of Justine. But Justine is innocent, and Victor tries to prove this. Yet he doesn't spill anything about the monster, as he doesn't want to risk inquiry on his creation and be labeled crazy. Chapter 8. But despite everyone's attempts to prove her innocence, the court wasn't ready to believe it, as an enormity of crime and evidence pointed against her. Justine eventually was fed up with this, so confessed that she committed the crime in hopes to gain salutation. This only leads her to her death. Victor is now consumed with guilt, as he is responsible for these two deaths in the family. Chapter 9. Victor's father, Alphonse, decides to move to their family home in Bellerive in hopes to escape the depression. They try to enjoy the beautiful scenery around them, in hopes to cheer themselves up. Chapter 10. But despite the beautiful scenery, the moments are short-lived. Victor is still depressed. So he decides to head up to the summit of Montanvert to lighten his mood. He climbs to the top of a glacier where he sees a creature coming towards him at high speed. He's trembled with rage and horror, but despite his attempts to attack and kill the monster, he's persuaded to come into a cave with him. That's when the monster begins to tell Victor the story of his life. To be continued.